Hi, everyone. Hope everybody has had a great morning so far and a great weekend. It has been a wonderful weekend for me because I've been inside. It's been cold, but I'm here and I've had the opportunity to stay indoors a bit, even though I had work to do. I was able to stay indoors and get some work done and enjoy some warmth inside. So, for me, it was a good weekend, and I am grateful for the time indoors as it gets cold outside. We are celebrating the month of October designated to the pink month. I found my pink jacket. So it's the end of the month, and we want to be able to talk more about honoring those with breast cancer and those who have been affected by any cancer at all. At FXWB New Beginnings podcast, we were able to share some others' stories as well as what some organizations or persons have been doing for these individuals to honor them and celebrate them. Today, I wanted to talk with someone else about it. So we will be getting into that discussion today, and hopefully we can hear what was her why, where she's at now, and what's going on with her. I want to share with you as the month of October ends. Please still think of those who may be affected by this disease. We have a lot of families affected by breast cancer or any type of cancer. Just this weekend, I've heard at least three persons with cancer. And it is important that we understand that if we can seek help, take care of ourselves, we can get rid of this disease affecting our families and our friends. It is said that at least eight, one out of eight women, African American women, have breast cancer or been diagnosed with breast cancer. And for me, I think that is a big number. What I would love for us to do is start looking at what we can do beforehand. Early detection is necessary. So, getting yourself checked, checking yourself, ladies, checking yourself on a regular basis, going and get your mammograms. These things we need to do. But we also need to make sure that we are eating correctly so that we can help ourselves heal from the inside out. We also need to be doing physical activity. Physical activity is a must. God created us to move. So we want to make sure that we're moving and we are keeping our bodies physically active to feel better from the inside out. So today we are going to talk with one Miss Nadia Miller. And Miss Nadia Miller, she has a foundation, but she also has another business, and she is a very powerful young lady, engaging and very knowledgeable in all that she does. And she's going to share her why with us today. And I hope that we would hear something and take something away from this interview today. And I'm happy that she is here and I'm going to add her on stage. For those on Instagram, if you want to see the podcast, you could come on to the FXWB New Beginnings podcast YouTube channel, and we are here streaming live for you. So you can ask questions if you want to, and you can listen in to our conversation. So, Miss Nadia, I am happy to see you on board here, and I will add you on stage now. Hello. Good
Hi, how are you?
afternoon. I'm fine. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us here at FXWB New Beginnings podcast with Michelle. We here are so happy that you have this time with us today to tell us a little bit about you and tell us what you are all in, what you do, and why do you do it. So I'm giving you the stage right now. Who is Miss Nadia Miller?
Well, thank you. So, who is Miss Nadia Miller? I am a business owner. I am a mother, um, and I am a 16-year breast cancer survivor.
Hey.
And so, and all of these are somehow came to intersect with one another as a part of my life's journey. And so, um, I own Pink Forever Ending Disparities, which is a local nonprofit here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Say the name
Um,
again.
Pink Forever,
Pink.
Pink. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Pink Forever. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Pink
Yeah.
Forever. We are a breast cancer servicing organization
Mm-hmm.
that provides resources to families and patients that have been impacted with breast cancer, whether they're in active treatment or um, post or pre treatment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we provide financial assistance to patients who are in active treatment. And then for individuals who are caregivers or children or support, we provide support within four pillars of our organization through empowerment, education, support, and research.
Good. Good. And how long has this foundation been up?
We've been around for 16 years.
16
Yeah,
years. All
16
right.
years.
Okay. So you did mention that you are a breast cancer survivor. Tell me something. How did you find out that you had breast cancer?
Well, I have a history of breast cancer in my family, but the way I found my lump, I was 28, and so I did not think I didn't think it was breast cancer. I
Mhm.
just was taking a shower, and I dropped the cloth and continued on, and that's when I felt something that didn't feel normal.
Mhm.
About it was like about 1.5 centimeters, a little like a little pea,
Mhm.
and after that, I went to see my physician, and then to more physicians, until I was able to until I was able to have my biopsy, and then that's when I found out I had a malignancy and I had cancer.
Okay. Your treatment, are you still in treatment for it? Because I know I've heard of many breast cancer survivors saying that they are still taking medication, they're still doing things to help r- reduce the chance of it coming back. Are you still on medication?
No, I'm not still on medication. My treatments, I had very aggressive treatments. Of course, I'm a triple negative breast cancer patient, which, for those of your viewers that may not know, is a very aggressive type of breast cancer. And so I treated because I was also very young. I have the gene for breast cancer. We can talk about that later. And so that is how I made my decisions on what I needed to do. So I had a total, um, I had a bilateral mastectomy, removed both of my breasts, and I also had a other surgeries so that I would not get ovarian cancer as well.
Okay.
So no, I take vitamins. I take vitamins, and I try to watch. I do try to watch what I eat, my intake, but I'm
Hmm.
not like on some super diet or anything like that. I still have to, of course, go to the doctor and have yearly scans. But I have been cancer free for 16 years.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, I've heard so many different stories, and each one is it's unique to the individual.
Hmm.
So it speaks to breast cancer is you can be unique to the individual. and what's going on with them in terms of how they may come about getting the cancer, or even just, as you say, genetic background plays a part in you understanding what your makeup is in getting this disease. But it's just like any other disease, it's specific to the individual.
That's absolutely correct. There is, and I'm glad you made mention of that. Breast cancer just is not breast cancer. There's a type, there's a grade, and
Yes.
it does depend on. Um, it's an individual case, um, based on the pathology of an individual.
Right, right. Okay, so you coming out of that, becoming a survivor to thriver, what are you doing right now to thrive? You said you have your own business, and can you elaborate a little bit more? Other than the foundation, what else are you doing?
Yeah, well, today, I'm sorry, it's Pink Forever Day here in the city of Indianapolis. The actual day is called Pink Forever Day. So,
I found pink. This is
yeah,
the only
thank
pink
you.
jacket I have, or pink anything
Yeah,
that
I
I
love
have.
it. Thank you. Yeah, so I also I am a leadership consultant. So I teach women in leadership
Mhm.
principles, practices on how to navigate being a woman in leadership, and
Mhm.
provide mentorship to women in small businesses or that have small businesses.
Good.
Um, just to help them with things that they may not know. You know, you need a CPA, you need an attorney, and I think to dispel some myths that you have to start, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. You can get there, but there's a way to get there. And so I spend the majority of my time with operations and strategic planning with other folks, along with, of course, um, leading the foundation.
Good. That's a good segue, because when we think of, like any other person, even though we have setbacks, we can use our setbacks to help us thrive in other fields or other areas. So understanding whatever your gifts are and
Hmm.
helping others to use their gifts, it helps a lot to, dive into things that can support others, and therefore get them to do the same, help
Hmm.
others as they move forward. So empowering women, I saw that you had two books out. Can you tell us a little bit about the what was the background, or what was that, s- how to strive when your ship is sinking? I know
Hmm.
you're co-author to that book. Can you give us a little bit of insight on how you went about writing with that
Yeah,
individual?
well, yes, ma'am. So I was approached for that particular book with multiple authors to come together to write about how to survive when your ship is sinking. And mine was a bit of a snippet of my story about how basically how I survived when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and not survive the cancer, but how did I survive life um, with such a diagnosis at such a young age. And I would like to think that the in those pages, what the reader found was a young woman at that particular time, that while she was lost at the time of diagnosis, she slowly found her way in her faith and in her community and in her family.
Mhm.
And that work actually propelled me a year or two later to write Survivor to Thriver, which was a two-part project. One was to create a piece of knowledge for individuals that either had been affected by breast cancer, or knew somebody that was going through breast cancer, to know how to approach or to deal with an individual that had such a diagnosis, because
Right.
there wasn't a playbook out there, right? And just like the
Right.
cancer is individualized, people's personalities and what they need is also individualized as well. And also, at the time my daughter was 2 years old, I wanted to talk to men and women about how to talk to their children, and what information they needed to give their children in order to continue to live life during that period. And so those are where those two projects or those works, and where they came from. Um, that are still available, and just hoping that providing information that was not so much off the shelf, that was custom made for our community. I think Black and Brown and Beige people, there are some cultural things that hinder us and propel us in different ways. And I wanted to capture that in a writing for folks, so that they could refer back to or have a reference that these things actually, do exist, and a hope to help.
Okay. So, would you like to share at least two points that you would share with Black, Brown, Beige folks, what we can do when we may be going through this stage of probably coming out of breast cancer or even having breast cancer? What would you tell someone right now if they're going through cancer and they have some a young one or in their family? What would you tell them now?
I would say that if you are currently in treatment um, for breast cancer, that if you have not done so, I think the first bit of advice I always give someone is to put their feet on the ground, and what that means is to get stable in your thinking about what you're dealing with.
Right.
And a lot of times we can just you get this diagnosis, and you take off running, and you start doing all of the things, and then you think it's a death sentence, and then we don't have all the information, and then that doesn't really help. And I learned that not from reading a book. I learned it because I had to plant my feet. and,
Right.
and get all of the information that I needed for me, not what was going on with other people that had been diagnosed. Not that their stories weren't relevant, but I had to make sure that I was writing my own book about my own diagnosis. So
Right.
keep your feet would be the first thing that I would say. The
Yeah.
second thing that I would encourage someone to do in coming in and going out is to make sure that you have a strong support system that fits your personality, a group of people that understand who you are, that can love you in your misunderstandings about what's going on, and then also have the breath and the wherewithal to really support you in such a life changing diagnosis, because it is
Right.
life, it's life altering, it's life changing. And um and I think it's important to have, even if it's a small group, it could be one or two. You don't need
Right.
50, right? You just need a space and a place to try to gain to understand,
Yeah.
apart from, like, I love people bringing dinners and all that. That's just one aspect of it, but a place for you to have a place of peace and solace to talk with someone.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just having someone to listen to what you trying to process out loud what's going on. And this can be for any um disease that you may be diagnosed with. Just being able to sit and talk and have someone to listen to you helps a lot to kind of like process it externally as well as internally, to see what's going on with you, what's going on in there. And bouncing out ideas with people, it really does
Mhm.
help to, have that,
Yeah.
as you say, one or two persons. You really don't need a whole
Yeah,
gang. Really. But
that's
yes,
true.
the one or two persons, they're the ones that you really trust and know that they could tell you yes,
Yes.
okay,
Mhm.
or no, hold up, breaks, take your time on this. It does really help to have that person at your side.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I want to wrap it up because I know you're a very busy lady. What I want to ask you though is, I know that having a foundation and seeking people to come come into or be a part of your organization, whether it is to support financially or just support in different facets or different ways, that can be a challenge for you. Um, is there any way, or would you like to share what are some of the things you hope for when it comes to people supporting your foundation?
I hope when people support Pink Forever Ending Disparities, that one of the major things is to get involved, whether from a service aspect. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities, whether it's through advocacy, whether it's through committees, whether it's through ideas, and most of all, from a monetary standpoint. One thing I absolutely love about this organization is that you can see where the money goes, right? You can see that the money goes right back in the community that folks are working in, and that they live in and that they worship in. And I think it's really important that when you support organizations, nonprofits, foundations, that you know where your money is going and you know who your money is helping. And
Yeah.
I mean, being in nonprofit business, that's how we do the work. We do the work through generous donations from individuals that understand the work that we're doing so that we can serve someone else. I think when it comes to volunteerism, or it's really finding where you fit, what your skill set is, and then giving that away, or giving it to a space and place that also fulfills you while you're
Yeah.
serving um,
Yes.
someone else.
Yes. Yes. So yes, we can help each other regardless. You don't have to have the foundation yourself. You just
That's
need to get
correct.
involved. You do need to get involved. So I want to thank you and I appreciate you taking this time out with me to talk about your foundation. And I do would like to share any links to the foundation so that we can make sure that everybody has access to it. You could send me a message
Would you
here
like me to
in
put it
the
in the chat? Would you like me to
yes,
put
just
the
put it in the
uh,
private chat and I will put it in on my YouTube channel so that we can make sure that everybody has access to. Yep. Thank you.
and I'm actually,
Everybody.
yep, I'm putting our phone number
Okay.
in here as well, and then our service. If folks want to email
Right.
or have further questions, our executive director will be more than happy to help or to send them to the right place. And so,
Good.
Michelle, thank you for having me, and I
Yes.
appreciate time with you and your viewers today.
Yes, I am very appreciative of you taking the time out to speak with me and continue doing the good work you do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a blessed one.
You too.
Take care. So thank you so much for listening in, guys. This was a very informative podcast interview with Miss Nadia Miller. And we definitely want to head on over to pinkforever.org and pink for as in the number four ever.org. I would put that information up on Instagram as well and her contact number information for everyone to have access to so we can connect. We can connect with this foundation and see the work that they are doing and be able to support, whether it is through volunteering or whether it is through a monetary way of helping others. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening in to this podcast today. We hope that you have gleaned some information about breast cancer. And tomorrow, you're going to see our last podcast on a survivor of another survivor of breast cancer. And her story is really unique, and I enjoyed interviewing her. So, we are going to see that story tomorrow on FXWB New Beginnings podcast with Michelle. And we hope that you have enjoyed this month looking at ways to honor as well as listening to stories of breast cancer survivors. Do go out there and help, even if it's not breast cancer or any of the cancers. Helping, volunteering your time, your money to these organizations, these nonprofit organizations for research and to help with increasing the help for everybody, whether you're white, black, brown, beige, any color, any ethnicity. That's the reason for having these organizations to help everyone get the necessary help needed for their disease. So thank you again so much for tuning in to FXWB New Beginnings podcast with Michelle. And today it was with Nadia. I will share her information again with everyone. Have a blessed day.